Hi, Jamie, and thank you. Good morning, Sales Academy. You know, of course, you need special skills and knowledge to succeed in sales, but couldn't we say that about any job, really? Butcher, baker, candlestick maker, don't they all need special skills and knowledge? Sure, but sales is qualitatively different because it requires a special attitude because it's not just a job. We're in a professional competition and it's a battle every day. Now, of course, it's easy to love winning. Everybody loves to be competing when they're winning. But to love the battle, no matter how challenging the circumstances, how difficult the environment, that takes a truly resilient competitor. So today I want to talk with you a little bit and think a little bit about why it is so important to learn to love the battle. In fact, let me start with why it's important. You know, in sales, it's one of those games where you can give it everything you got and you can still come up short sometimes. That's just a cold, hard fact. A lot of us learned it as kids, didn't we? The first time we cried after losing a game, you know, a team game, and it's the first time we realized that if we ever wanted to taste the thrill of victory, we had to suffer the agony of defeat. And I think the reason that athletes are so often role models in every country and every sport is that they're one of the few folks where we can actually see them out there in the stadiums or on live TV, and we can see them play their game, fight their battles, and risk everything in public. In fact, I think a lot of us kind of live our lives vicariously through sports. And isn't that one reason why it was so tough when so many societies shut down professional sports and all kinds of sports? Because it took that away from us. And the reason that we relate so well to athletes is because the universal human condition is to struggle. And once you get that, once you really understand that the human condition is to struggle, well, that's when you grow up. That's when you stop expecting life to be easy. That's when you stop expecting business to be fair or predictable. That's even maybe when we get a little bit toughened up and we're not going to be so paralyzed and blindsided by unexpected challenges, kind of like we're living and working through right now, right? So you're here at Sales Academy. Why? Because you want to perform better, become better performers. And I contest that unless you understand how your performance equipment works, you can't really make those improvements. So I want to share with you something that was taught to me by a sports psychologist named Jim Lair. He was the author of Toughness Training for Sports. And Jim Lair created a computer analogy to human performance equipment, and it went like this. Your body is kind of like your hardware. Your mind is kind of like your software. But the electric current that powers everything is emotion. Human emotions run the show when it comes to competition. And that's why considering how we deliberately create those positive human emotions is so important to learn. We only got 6 minutes, so I'm going to give you just 3 points. And the first point I'll make is simply this. Number one, you must emotionally embrace the challenge of this COVID pandemic, this environment. Embrace the challenge. And the reason that is so important is that if you don't do that and you come up against other people who have embraced the challenge, they will slaughter you in a sales competition. It's one of those things where if you don't love the battle, the more likely you're going to give up, get discouraged, become depressed and demoralized, have a terrible time at work, and fail to live up to your full potential. However, the more you can strive to and actually love the battle, the more you'll persevere in the face of adversity. The more you'll not only keep trying, but you'll be more creative. You'll find different ways to get things done. You'll see opportunities. You'll feel invigorated at your job. You will enjoy your life and you'll even sustain high performance. That is why it is so important to love the battle. Now, the second thing you can do, besides taking this attitude of embracing the challenge, is you must take massive action, massive business development action. The only way I know of to get better is to go out every day and compete as much as you can. And when you're in the sales business, that means that you need to deepen your personal customer relationships now and find ways to broaden your contacts and opportunities. And the more massively you approach that and throw all of your energy behind it, you'll find that that increases your confidence. That builds your self-belief. It's been said many times that action is the antidote to despair and being demoralized and feeling lazy. Action changes the way you feel and act. And I'll give you an example of that. I'm a tennis fan myself, and I had the unique chance to watch Andy Roddick win the US Open in person in New York City. And he just exudes passion, poise. He's out there playing hard and tough, but he's also having fun. And you could almost just see it in him. That's what they call in sports the ideal performance state. And we people in sales, we can learn something from the athlete's desire to reach that ideal performance state where you're just in the flow. You're performing, but you're not. And that is what really makes a great salesperson. They're performing, but it doesn't even feel like that because they've thrown their entire selves into it. So I want to remind you that if you're going to do those two things, embrace the challenge, right, and take massive action, there's this one last piece that's equally important, and that is to practice mental toughness. Mental toughness is the ability to bring your best when your best is needed. It's the ability to summon up all of your talent and skill and muscle memory and put it to use when it's most important, when everything is on the line. And I mean, can you imagine a star athlete or a star salesperson? Can you imagine them ever saying in the midst of their competition, oh man, we can never do that. I can't do that. Ridiculous. We would never even imagine that. But you know how often you will hear people saying things like, you know, I just hate this. This is a bunch of BS. Let me warn you, if you find yourself saying, I hate this, if you even find yourself thinking, I hate this, you've got to stop that right now if you want to be mentally tough. Okay? And in fact, it's mental toughness that will allow you to change that feeling of, I hate this, to, I love this pressure. Bring it on. Come on. Let's go. And that sort of high energy, positive fighting spirit and emotions and that positive self-talk, that is how professional athletes and people who succeed in every performing art, including sales, bring themselves to the best they can be at the moment they can be. So I'm going to leave you with one last bit of knowledge. It's the best definition of accountability I've ever heard. Accountability means to rise above your personal circumstances, to take the ownership to achieve desired results. And in fact, right now couldn't be a better time, a better chance for you to practice taking 100% accountability for three things: for embracing the challenge of this COVID pandemic, for taking massive business development action to increase your confidence, and for practicing mental toughness, which will make you far more successful in this professional competition that we call sales. Back to you, Jamie. Thanks, everyone.